welcome back to the Be More Connected Summit. I'm your host, Elise Preston, founder of Be More Connected, and today I am so thrilled to be here with Monisha Garner. Hey, Monisha.
Hola.
And Monisha is the founder of Moya Body Care, which was manifested more than 13 years ago as a holistic and organic body care company treating sensitive skin. And over the years, Moya has become something stronger and greater and has been able to offer the very best in colon hydrotherapy, Yoni Steaming, Iridology, Reiki, and Herbs. And Monisha inspires you to move towards a healthier mind, body, and spirit through all of her work. Thank you so much for being here. And
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Yes, and I'm very excited to dive into our conversation today.
Definitely. So am I. I've been looking forward to it. I love sharing what I do. I love the questions asked about my career path. So I'm open. I'm here.
Wonderful. And I'd love to start just with a little check-in in terms of where you're located in the world right now and how you're holding up during these uncertain times.
Definitely. So my business is a colon hydrotherapy business. I have a private office storefront, if you will, here in Torrance, California. And it's directly across the street from Harbor UCLA Medical, if you are familiar with that area in Torrance. I'm about maybe 15 minutes away from downtown LA. Without traffic. With traffic, it's a totally different story, right? Totally different story. So basically, how am I during this great period of uncertainty for some people? Myself personally, I closed my doors temporarily on March 17th, excuse me. March 17th. And that day I was fine. And I was getting a whole bunch of text messages, like from my clients and neighbors and friends, and my mom was a ringleader, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And everybody's blowing up my phone, like, what's going on? We're on lockdown and there's a pandemic. And so I'm receiving all this information from all angles, right? From my clients who just left, from my neighbors in the area where my office is.
Okay.
My mom is blowing my cell phone up. I'm getting all these ping on emails, and I'm looking at the titles, right? And then on Facebook and social media, Instagram, etc. And so when I got home, I was kind of numb because I was bombarded with so much information at one time. I didn't know what was going on. So for me, I am not a responder. I am more of an observer first, and then I respond. But what I've learned in that period of observing was that it was too much for me, and it shut my body off. So I slept for the first, I want to say 9 days straight.
Yeah.
And the only thing that woke me up literally was the fact that my physical body was doing something. I didn't know what it was. And so when I came to and came out of my like comatose induced coma of self-preservation, I realized that my body was covered in hives.
Oh, wow.
Right. So this is how my body is processing the stress.
Sure.
So I said, oh, this is the reason why I am hibernating. This is the reason why I felt all of the energy to say, sit down, be still, turn the lights out. Don't respond to what's going on right now. You don't have to. It's too much. Sit down.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So for another week after that, I just nursed myself. My partner made me some really, really good herbs to put on my on the hives, and just kind of moving through liquidating my internal system by flushing it out with herbs and liquids, and just going back and forth with that. I have a sauna, infrared sauna in my office. So I've been doing the infrared sauna and been giving myself colonics.
Yeah.
So lately it's been more about me going inward and just trying to understand what I need right now to heal. So in that space, Spirit was like, get ready, because after all this is said and done, you're going to be busy.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, that's why I'm sleeping so much. That's why I'm resting, because my first thought process was, well, after, the hives kind of calm down and the inflammation goes away, I'm going to get to work on really pushing this program, push that program, do videos, reach out, do this, do that, do that. Spirit was like, you are so funny. Yeah, we ain't doing none of that
right now. Yeah.
We ain't doing none of that. So you don't need to do that. That's not for you. For everybody else, probably, maybe, we don't know. But for you right now, that's not what you need. You need to sit down and be still. And I'm still sitting down and being still outside of, being interviewed by your beautiful self and a couple of other people. That's literally all I've been doing.
Well, that's so amazing that you have that self-awareness and that connection with spirit and to yourself and knowing what you need, because I think that's something that a lot of people are experiencing is,
well, it took a minute. It just didn't happen like that. Like, this is a practice. This is something that I've been practicing for a minute, right? And so when we look at everybody else with this scattered, fear moved response, it's like, what have you been practicing up to this point?
Yes.
What have you been saying to yourself up to this point? How have you been caring for yourself up to this point? And the highlight of all this, the shifting that's going on, is allowing people to see, I'm really not caring for myself the way I should be. Or, you know what, this relationship is not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Or, you know what, I really don't like working there, so I'm okay with not going back. So
100%.
All these awarenesses are popping up. And for some people, the awareness is not a pleasant one. Sometimes awareness comes in the form of divorce, comes in the form of ending things, letting go, not always welcoming. But, that's where we are. Everybody's forced to make a decision right now.
And like you were saying, that awareness is what actually allows us to create shift and change in our lives. And it may be uncomfortable, but can ultimately be what our spirit and our soul really needs.
Exactly. Everything changes.
Yeah. Change is the only constant.
That, death, and taxes. But yeah, change is not always going to be a pleasant one, and change is not always going to be a not so easy one. Sometimes change is easy. Sometimes change is dirty. Sometimes change stinks. Sometimes change, it hurts. Sometimes change feels good. It just depends on what it is.
Right. And it's going to be different for everyone.
Exactly.
And I loved what you were speaking about in terms of this being a practice, becoming more connected with ourselves, becoming more connected with spirit. And I'd love to take a little bit of a step back and learn a little bit more about you and your journey of healing and what allowed you to kind of step into the space of being a wellness practitioner and opening Moya Body Care.
Okay. Where should I start? So I've been a practitioner of self-care, if you will, since I want to say my first beat down by my mom. And the reason why I got my first beat down by my mom, I think I was about 7 or 8. My mom always had a beautiful garden in the backyard. And my father had just bought her all these plants and, pottery accessories and all this stuff for spring. So my mom goes to her garden and she's planting all these plants and seeds and this and that and, figurines, and it was beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And so all this fresh dirt. And I was like, ooh, that's nice to make a mud pie and put all over your body and put it in your hair and all over your face and everything, right? So after my mom was done, I did that. And my parents have a pool at their house. and they have a diving board. So I thought after I dig up all her plants and put them all over my face and my body and in my hair and cover myself with mud, I'm going to lay out on the diving board and let everything just, suck in. Let's just say that dirt was beaten off my butt when my mom found out I dug up all of her plants.
Oh
when
my
my
gosh.
father got home, I got beat again. But
Right.
that was the beginning of me learning about using elements, nature, flowers, plants, herbs, essences, the sun, relaxing, self-care. That was my first true remembrance of me being on this path.
And you were 8 years
Now,
old.
I think I was like around 7 or 8.
Wow,
I know
okay.
for a fact I wasn't in the double digits. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. So I remember the swimsuit I had on. Because it had dirt all over it. I was kind of mad that I got that swimsuit dirty as a kid. But fast forwarded, throughout high school, I danced. Been dancing since 5, danced professionally after high school, danced with Alvin Ailey for about 2 summers. I was also a track runner. And then after high school, I went straight into massage therapy, excelled at that. So at a very early age, I started my business at the age of, I want to say 17 actually, because I had clients when I was running track, and I was running track in high school.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember a track coach of mine pulled me to the side one Saturday afternoon. I would work on all of my track meet buddies. Okay. I would wrap their ankles up with essential oils and, work on their back and warm them up. I was the person, the unofficial herbalist for the team. She's like, where did you learn this? And I said, I don't know. I don't know. It just comes out and I feel comfortable with it. I feel like I'm being guided. He's like, you should go to school for this. You can get paid a lot of money to do this. I said, okay. So I looked into massage school, found a school, excelled at that, bought a table the second week I was in school, which was technically illegal. So I had a full-on business before I even actually had my massage certification, which was that was in 98, believe it or not. 1998 was when I got my first business license for massage therapy. As I'm working and building my business full-time, technically, I also had a full-time job with the city of LA. So I'm working both, right? Working both. Excellent money coming in. I was always traveling. And the more and more I dove into massage and herbs and self-care for myself, the more opportunities started opening up. I started, quote unquote, running into people that would link me to this opportunity, link me to that opportunity. It just kept unfolding and unfolding. Right. It just continued to unfold. And so I was in a relationship. And so now I'm like in my late 20s. And I've been getting colonics for years. Well past the age of 16. Yeah. And I was in a relationship, and it was a very toxic relationship. And I remember we had a very intense argument, and I was on my way to go get a colonic. And I remember I drove a truck at that time, and I was going over an overpass in LA to transition onto another freeway. And we were arguing on the phone, and I threw the phone. I think I threw the phone out the window. I'm not really sure. And instead of following the freeway, I continued to keep straight. The only thing that woke me up were the cars honking behind me on the side of me, because everybody's curving, but I'm in a truck keeping straight. Yeah. But for a split second, I said, you know what? I'm just going to let it all go. Right? So that clearly did not happen. That was my first and only time ever having that thought process. Okay. I arrive at my appointment. My colon therapist just looked at me and she asked if I was okay. And I just shook my head. She's like, do you want your colonic? And I just nodded my head. And she just said, go ahead and go to the colonic room. I'll give you a moment. I'll be right there. So I'm on the table. She comes in. I lay on my left side. She slides the speculum in. And I have this crazy, I thought I was having a breakdown, literally.
Yeah.
Like, my life is over. I'm in this fucked up relationship. I'm not where I thought I should be. You know, I was happy, but all of a sudden I'm not happy. I'm depressed. I'm thinking about killing. Like, what is going on with me? And I'm just crying and crying and crying, like that ugly cry where there's like a lot of snot and
it's all coming out. Yeah.
right. You're that type of crying. It was horrible. And I remember I was on my side, and the colon therapist never said anything. She just held space for me to figure out what was going on. She never once said anything, but she was still very present. I could feel her in the room, and I can feel her holding space for me. So after I was finished with what I thought was a breakdown, it was actually a breakthrough.
Yes.
So I'm on the table, and I said, oh my God, like, and let me back up a second, because this is very important. When I opened my eyes and I wiped my eyes off, there was a picture of like dolphins or something on the wall, and there was a candle glowing underneath it, and I can see my practitioner in the reflection. I can see her reflection in the picture. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
She's a tall woman. She has locks like me. They were very, very long, and she's a little lighter than me, but almost same person.
Wow.
And in that moment, I said, oh my fucking stars. I want to do what you do. I want to help people leave fucked up relationships and be empowered to take their life back and to get back on track. And I just was rambling on and on and on. And like, it was a crazy download. And all these downloads are happening for my business. Now, when I look back on it, because I write everything down, right? I write everything down. When I look at my journal back then, everything that's happening to me right now was in my journal. Whoa. So that was my spiritual download. And I tell you, I was rattling at the mouth.
It was just all coming through.
The therapist just kind of looked at me, and she was like, okay. Like, what is going on with you, Mo? A few moments ago, you were in complete breakdown mode. Now, all of a sudden, you were clear. Your voice has changed. Like, you're not crying. I was shaking. She's like, you're not even shaking anymore. Like, what is going on? I told her, I don't know what's going on, but I need to know, where did you get started? So she gave me a little bit of information. I went to my truck, got on my cell phone. I just started searching.
Okay.
I found a training that was coming up very soon, but it was in Vegas.
Okay.
And I'm just going to speed it up because there's some other things that happened. But I went ahead and called the school. And the lady that answered the phone was very, very nice. She gave me all the information. I was like, perfect. I want to sign up. And now here's the thing, though.
Okay.
I knew that I didn't have any money on my credit card because one of the reasons why I was in an argument with my ex was because he had used my credit card for some crazy, insane charges. Right. So I'm in the middle of getting the money back from those purchases. And it was over $800 worth of purchases.
Yeah.
So I knew that that particular credit card was maxed out. I only carried that one, and I didn't have any in my account, right? Yeah. So she tells me the dollar amount, and I'm like, I don't have that. Like, it was just a deposit. So I said, you know what, whatever. So I took the credit card out. I gave her the number. Now, mind you, I don't have any money in this credit card.
Right.
Gave her the credit card, and she runs it, and I'm not even praying. I'm just like, Spirit, look, if this is what you want me to do, I'm open. Use me. If not, like, I'm here. I'm neutral.
Okay.
The woman comes back to the phone, and she said, perfect, Monisha. We'll see you at the training. We'll email you the books. And I'm just like, what? Okay, thank you, bye. And I hung up the phone. And, I sat in the car, and I cried. I cried. I thanked my ancestors. I thanked Spirit. And I just rocked myself, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried. So when I went to the training, I was 7 months pregnant.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't know I was pregnant when I was going over that on-ramp.
Wow.
I was pregnant then.
Yeah.
So speed it up, 6 months, no, what's that? 4 months later.
Okay.
Something along those lines. I get to my training. I'm 7 months pregnant. I had an argument with my ex that morning again. The cops were involved. It was a crazy, insane morning. So when I get to school that morning, there was a test that I had not studied for. I passed with flying colors.
What?
And I was the only one that passed with flying colors. And it's been uphill ever since from there.
Right. Wow. And I'm seeing too this thread of really having these synchronicities and signs from the universe, just affirming the path that you're moving along.
Oh yes. When I went to that training, it was a week and a half long training. When I came back to LA, I was still working with the city, and I'm still a massage therapist, right? And I'm a massage therapist as a solo independent contractor, not so much working for anybody else.
Right.
I cashed out my 401k, and the human resources lady, she went through this thorough explanation about all the penalties, et cetera, et cetera. I said, look, cash out my 401k. I will pick up my check on Friday before you close. I called them on Monday. So you got 4 days to get my check ready for me to pick it up on Friday.
Okay. Yep.
That Monday, I had walked into the office, to my supervisor office at that time, and I gave her my resignation letter. And she read it in disbelief. She's like, this is a joke. She's like, you're going to start your own business? And I said, yes, I am. And I would love for you to come by my office, because I will have now, mind you, I don't have an office. I don't have any equipment. I don't have nothing. Right? And I told her, I said, when I get up and running, I would love to have you come and get a service and, just speaking it into existence. And she's looking at me like, are you okay?
So confused.
Yeah. And I said, I'm fine. She's like, you're going to leave a good city paying job to be self-employed? And I said, yes, I am. And you're going to be my client. And to this day, she's one of my best clients.
Amazing.
She's one of my favorite clients. And over half of my coworkers where I used to work, they're actually my clients now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I never left in, like, freak this job, I don't want it. Like, it was really peaceful. It was very much in alignment.
Yes.
I went in with grace. I didn't go in with ego. Now, keep in mind, I'm pregnant still.
Right.
So people are freaking out left and right. They're like, what are you doing? You need the insurance, or you have a child coming, like all these fear-based things. You can't be self-employed because you have a brand new baby. How are you going to work? I did it. I did it. I breastfed, and I worked on social media, posting posts about my business and creating programs. I potty trained him when I had a client over here. Like, it just worked. Everything worked.
And I think that is something that really requires so much trust and so much surrender.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if there's any kinds of wisdom that you could share with our audience around being able to cultivate a little bit more of that in our lives, because I think we have really been conditioned to have such a tight grasp to control and to be seeking an outside authority versus listening into the path that we're being maybe called towards.
Exactly. I don't even know what to say in regards to giving someone a prompt on how to listen. It's a sense of allowing, if you will, because sometimes we walk around like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, or like this, When you are looking and seeking to be guided by spirit, you have to have all those channels open. Nothing can be silenced or muffed, or it has to all be open. The only way that I know for that feeling to happen is to sit in stillness often.
Mm.
You know, oftentimes, especially with new clients will come in and they'll say, you close your eyes a lot. Like, what is that about? And I was not aware that I was doing that.
Mm.
And so when I said in meditation about, and I'm doing it now, and I'm like, what is that? It's going in and listening and not being responsive.
Yeah.
It's being contemplative first,
Mm-hmm.
and then feeling, and then moving from that. Not always being ready to answer. I don't have all the answers. I don't want that responsibility.
Right.
But I do like to feel and sit and think about the response first.
Mm.
So in order to be more in tune, what I've learned with myself,
Right.
it may not work for everybody, but what I've learned for me is that there's this sense of safety
Mm.
in being still and silent for me. And I just feel like I have this tribe around me that
Mm.
wants me to be successful in helping other people.
Beautiful.
I can't explain it another way that it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step. I think that with all of the experiences that I've had along my path,
Mm-hmm.
it required me to listen, because if I didn't listen, I would be in serious trouble,
Right.
like serious trouble.
Mm.
It is a literal miracle that I'm still here with all the stuff that I have experienced with getting out of a abusive relationship emotionally and spiritually. He
Mm.
tried it physically once, but that's when I left.
Yeah.
Not to say that the emotional and spiritual stuff wasn't enough,
Mm.
but when it got to that point, I had to listen and say, mm-mm.
Sure.
You know, I did fight. That's for sure. I did fight, but spirit
Yeah.
also was like, kick his ass, then leave. So that's what I did. I just didn't walk out, but I kind of fought a little bit, then I left.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else with that required me to just take a moment, breathe, and assess, how did I get to this point?
Right.
Because it's not just me that is going to be affected by my decisions. It's my partner who's going to be affected. He's going to be affected, and then his family is going to be affected. My son is going to be affected, and my
Mm.
family is going to be affected.
Right.
Every decision that I make affects my inner circle. I respect my inner circle because I respect myself.
Mm.
I'm not going to harm them because I'm not going to harm myself. So when I start putting myself first versus lowering myself down here, that's when the clarity between whoever, God, Buddha, Allah, spirit, ancestors, whoever it is that you are seeking to connect with, the connection got closer and closer and closer. Now we're aligned.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
I chose to put myself first by all and any means necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I set my partner down and I set my son down, and I explained to them that this is what I need to recharge. This is how I need to be loved. This is how I like to communicate. This is how I need to be shown affection or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And they did the same thing. And it's been beautiful ever since.
Super, super powerful practice. And I love how you talked about that journey and that evolution of making sure that every decision that you made was honoring self-honoring, honoring of yourself, but also honoring of everyone in your inner circle, and really allowing yourself to feel completely seen and held and understood in all of those relationships. Because when we begin to give ourselves permission to live that way, like, it's so radical, it's so
It's
transformational.
right. And it's very difficult,
Yeah.
because who else do you know is celebrating their life in that way?
Mm.
Not too many women who look like me are doing that. They're not
Right.
celebrating their life. They are tolerating.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to tolerate. I want to enjoy
Yep.
the majority of the moments that I can enjoy. I want rich relationships. I want crazy, insane dialogue with my son about whatever he wants to talk about,
Yes.
and I want to get lost in that conversation. Who gets lost in conversations with 13-year-olds? Thank you. That's what I want. I want the same thing with my partnership and my relationship. I want to get lost talking to my mom about whatever she wants to talk about, but that is how I'm honoring myself, because I have deep dialogues with myself on a regular basis.
Powerful.
So when you start putting yourself first and you start honoring what you need, what you want, what you feel, what you don't want to feel, and you have boundaries, then your other relationships with your partner, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your children will be that much richer and deeper.
100%.
Now our community is stronger.
Yes, it makes us stronger, and it makes our communities stronger as well. And I so appreciate you sharing your story and sharing your journey, because I think it will be really powerful for people to be able to really connect that in and see that this is so possible. And I think that your story is so connected to, obviously, your business and the work that you're doing in the world. And I really love that in your bio, it talks about this holistic approach to wellness and reconnecting us with our original source of energy. And so I was just wondering if you could share a little bit more about the philosophy behind Moya Body Care, and for folks who may not be as familiar with energy work, maybe giving just a little bit of information about how that works.
Definitely. I love that. So originally my business, Moya Body Care, started off as a way to help me move eczema out of my system through herbs, through herbal baths, through tinctures, through energy work, through body work.
Okay.
Right? Once you understand the nature of eczema, then you can understand that it is an emotional pull. All diseases or imbalances within the body and on the body start from our thought process and our emotional understanding and acceptance of our body. No other way around it. Regardless of what you say, that's how disease starts, right? So with that, I learned and understood that not everybody's journey is going to be the same.
Right.
So in order for me to help people, I have to listen. So again, it goes back to being still.
Yeah.
And so this is my training prior to me actually being and having my business. I didn't understand that until recently. Like, oh, that's why I was taught to be still. This is why I was taught to listen, because I need to do this to help my clients. Duh. There we go. So now when clients come in, my main job is to create the space for them to dump their stuff, to dump their emotional, physical, and spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
My job is to arrange it in a way so I can show it back to them exactly what's going on. So my job is to simply be a mirror. The systems that helped me understand that was the Mayan calendar, understanding my galactic signature, and then also too, just recently, human design, if you are familiar with that. That has helped me learn which of the 4 people I am on the planet, which I'm a projector.
I'm a projector as well.
Are you serious? Yes. So those 2 systems have helped me understand a little bit more about why I'm in business. My job is to solely arrange what people tell me, put it in a system that works for them to understand it, turn it back around, show it to you, and then you assess what steps you want to take based off what I just rearranged for you.
I love it.
So now this becomes a holistic approach, a holistic look, a holistic understanding on how we can move forward, either through colon hydrotherapy, changing your diet, adding herbs, taking away herbs, iridology reading, using the sauna, getting a massage, Reiki, ear candling. It'll tell me which way we need to go, or tell you which way you need to go.
Sure.
Right? So that's basically my philosophy and my approach to working with clients is you come in, I listen to you, I write it all down or draw pictures or sometimes I pull books out. Sometimes I'll pull tarot cards out. Sometimes I'll write it out. Sometimes I'll get a book and it'll be a page in the book and I'll show it to you and you'll go, oh my God, that's exactly what I just said. So it just depends. Sometimes it will turn into a consultation where the person is purging physically and they're just crying and crying and crying. And we physically never get to the colonic. But this is what this person needed.
Sure.
And that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's where the philosophy comes from. As far as their energy work, everything's energy. Everything is the energy. If you just rub your hands together, you can feel the energy that you just created.
Yeah.
So my job with energy is to help people reconnect with that. So how do we do it? I like to start with breathing. So my clients will all tell you, Mo will have you breathing first. So just get ready. She's going to have you breathing.
Right.
But I have all of my clients breathe depending on where we are in the matrix. Like if they need to breathe while we're in the consultation, I'll walk them through a breathing meditation. Or if sometimes clients will have their awakening during their colonic. They'll have their like breakdown or awakening depending on how you look at it. And then I'll walk them through the breathing meditation then. So it just depends. I've had clients actually come to the front getting ready to pay, and then that's when it hits them and they're like, I can't stand up. We'll sit down and I move them through a breathing meditation.
Right.
That breathing meditation is going to vibrate a certain frequency in the body. That frequency is what we talk about at the end of your meditation.
Beautiful. And the breath is so incredibly powerful and so incredibly healing. I remember when I was first learning about breath work when I was in my yoga teacher training, and my mind was just so incredibly blown because I mean, breath is life, but we often just are unconscious about the fact that we're breathing all day, every day, but not taking in our breath in a way that can be nourishing and supportive of our system.
Yes. So I'll give you a small example on how beautiful breath work is. I've been conscious of my breath work at a very, very young age because in order for you to be a dancer, you have to be aware of your body. You have to be aware of how you're breathing. In order for you to run track and to jump over hurdles, you have to learn how to control your breathing. Once you hit that hurdle, you need to learn how to control your lungs and your movement and everything. And then working with clients with body work, I just can't be exhaling over their body. I have to know when and how to breathe. So my awareness of breath has been since a very young age, right? So when I went into labor or delivery with my son, it was a natural delivery, no epidural. I exhaled twice and he slipped right out. It was an effortless delivery and pregnancy, right? Wow. My whole family was there. So all the women are in the delivery room with me and my mom is behind me. And I'm just calm and I'm breathing and I can feel him moving, right? And this is my first child, never been pregnant, never lost a baby through miscarriage, no abortions. This is my first time feeling all of this. And I'm cool as a cucumber. My mom is freaking out. My sister is freaking out. My best friend is freaking out. All the men in the hallway are freaking out like my family. And I'm just breathing. And the doctor is looking at me. She's like, did you smoke something before you came in here? I said, like, why are you so calm? Like, why are you asking me that? She's like, why are you so calm? And I just said, you know, it just feels natural for me to breathe like this. So I took a deep breath in and I exhaled and his shoulders and his head moved out. Whoa. So my mom is freaking out. My sister is freaking out. My best friend is freaking out. I'm still breathing. Right? Yeah. So I took a deep breath in and I exhaled again, and then the rest of his body moved out. So the baby is big, he's crying, he's on me, and I'm just loving it.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about it that hit me was maybe 2 minutes later, I started doing this, shaking, shaking, shaking. The adrenaline was catching up with me. So I had bypassed the adrenaline through breathing naturally.
Right. Yeah.
So my knees are knocking like this, and she's in between my legs like, Mo, you have to stop shaking. And I said, I can't control this. I said, it's my adrenaline.
Right.
And she looks around my knees and she's like, why are you so calm? Like, what are you taking? I just said valerian root and breathing. That's it. I haven't taken anything.
Wow.
This is really awesome.
Wow.
So, yeah. So breathing over everything, hands down, is going to get you to where you need to go as far as trusting is concerned. In order for you to deliver, you need breath.
Yes.
In order for you to have an orgasm, you need breath. In order for you to digest your food, you need breath. In order for you to connect with your higher spirit, you need breath. In order for you to be present, you need breath.
So true. Wow. And I feel like I'm going to need to come to you to get some breath work and some coaching before I have my first child, because wow, that story.
No, I'm not catching no babies. I don't do that. We can go to Target and go shopping for baby stuff. We can totally do that.
But breath work and allowing that to really just have a smooth, like ease-filled birth.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And all the other ways that you spoke about how breath is so essential to all of these functions that are connected to our humanity. And I would love if you could share a bit about what being more connected means to you.
Being more connected means being more compassionate towards myself. Being more overstanding of myself. Being connected means giving myself more allowances just to be.
Beautiful.
In order for me to be connected, I have to have my stuff straight. You can't connect with other people if this is all like, it's not going to come out right. It's not going to be genuine. It's going to be very judgmental. It's going to be very, like this, and, I'm up here and you're down here. It's not going to be connection. It's going to be a misconnection, a misfiring.
Right.
So until I get some peace in my space or my aura, or whatever you want to call it, in your chakras or in your energy field, until I feel okay with myself, there's no way that I can be connected to other people at all. So being more connected means giving myself the space and audacity to connect with me first, so that I can connect with whomever.
Yes, I love that, the space and the audacity.
Right.
And thank you so, so much for being here and for all the wisdom that you shared with this audience. And I would love if you could share some information about the free gift that you're sharing and how our audience can stay connected with you.
Yes. So I would love to share with you all my wings and tail meditation. I believe it's about 7 to 8 minutes, and it's going to be an audio where you will be guided to being more accessible to yourself, not to other people, but more accessible to yourself, more connected to yourself by getting grounded from top, bottom, left, and right. It's a really, really nice, very gentle awareness type meditation that you can use every day if you want. You can use it in your practice with your clients or with your family or with your partner. Sometimes me and my son will do it together. I shared it with my partner the other day, and he was just like, "You've been holding out. Like, you ain't never showed me this. This is new. Like, where you get this from?"
I love it.
So yeah, so that will be a gift from my heart to yours. I would love for you to enjoy, and then definitely let me know if you liked it, if you didn't like it, or any changes or additives, or show me how you are using it in your life and how it's affected you if you do plan to use it on a regular basis. I would love to hear how it works for you.
Yes.
It was a gift that was given to me when I was 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I took a class, I took a tribal arts class, and the teacher was crazy insane out of her mind. Crazy insane. She was very artsy.
Yeah.
But we had this afternoon where she shared that with us, and I've been using it ever since, for me personally.
Beautiful.
And with my clients.
Yes.
Yeah. But in order for you to share how it works for you, you can totally reach out to me. My website is Moya, Moya, bodycare.com. You will see all of the services that I have to offer. We do offer retreats, but due to our current situation, we probably won't do our next retreat until 2021 of spring of that time. So there's been a little pause on that, but rightfully so, because we want everybody to be very healthy and whole so that we can retreat in wellness and not be focused on fear.
Yes.
You can also reach me on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Moya Body Care. I normally post a good amount of videos in the week about herbs, detoxing, fasting, cleansing, digestive health and wellness, all that good stuff, parenting, relationships. Yeah, so I try to do videos on that.
Incredible.
And you can also email me at Monisha, Monisha, at Moya Body Care. And phone number 562-682-0818.
Awesome. And thank you again for being here, for sharing your time and energy to contribute to this series. I know that this audience is really going to benefit from hearing this conversation and the magic that you shared. And to our audience, I hope that you will join us again tomorrow for the next set of interviews direct to your inbox. Thanks, Monisha.
Thank you.